They're meatballs, they're fine.
Skarner's going for a cheaper tank item. The other option is...
Ooh, Build a Pony might not be, though. Ultimate lands. Curse of the Sad Build Time actually gets annihilated. Erebus kills the one. Gonna jump onto Freelancer. A miscommunication.
Is the team going to be able to save him?
Yeah, team is here in the choke point. Ultimate's only going to land onto one. Ruby now in the center of 4, but doesn't have the team to back things up. So it does look like on this side of the map, the red side is going to win. Meanwhile, PJ Salt of the pit, not able to make it in time. Oh yes, it is stolen by Tef as the fight begins. Freelancer taken very low. A huge mess of champions. This is where Ruby and these AoE ultimates can be really powerful. Build a Pony sort of off to the side, unable to get that extra healing, but PJ Salt is back into the play and is absolutely massive on the Aatrox. Ruby now taken extremely low, 3 kills picked up. Baron taken very, very low. Everything's secured. It's Smite stolen. I can't believe it. Godex Anime comes up huge, but meanwhile, look at the rest of the fight. Freelancer taken very low. Wednesday is living for so long. Ultimate. This is where it goes. Tef is alive. Tef is alive. And they managed to turn it around. RLS, they lose the Baron, but win the fight.
I thought Tef was dead. Erebus jumped on him, but...
Hello everyone, and welcome to Week 4, Day 2 of the FOF Heroic League. I am Warleader, and joining me is a fresh face for the cast.
Hello everybody, Fish McGish here. Day 1 of the job, I already got to pronounce team. So that's going to be interesting.
Let's go. Yeah, so getting into the draft, and these teams in particular, both teams are about 3 and 4 right now, and that's where most of the league was heading into today. So even though they're below that 500 mark, they are both looking around average for the league, and PTP are going to lock in Diana, who is their sub-jungler Creon's one trick. So good start for them.
Yeah, and Diana is a really strong champion right now, so I think that's a pretty solid start to the draft.
Absolutely. So it's going to be up to sort of Team AAA to figure out how they want to respond to that. And it looks like they might go towards the battle bus.
The only thing we're looking at here, though, is with the Diana lock, you can't pick AP topside, so it does pigeonhole them a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, probably not. Tadeusz hasn't really played many AP topspin, mostly like Camille and some tanks and some Alawi play as well. So expecting more of the bruiser tank style, and we are going to see another red side Seraphine Hecarim coming.
Again, really strong champion right now. He just got buffed in that last patch, giving him the armor on the W, magic resistance on the W. Really, really powerful champion. A lot of success here in FOF. Very good lock.
For sure. And one thing that I've been keeping my eyes out for is the Hecarim top lane play. And Red is definitely proficient on a lot of champions, and I'm curious if he studied up on the Hecarim top, because I've been hearing good things about that top lane.
Is that going to be a Yasuo lock-in? Oh my god! Crazy!
PTP has
Diana
an incredible
Yasuo
wombo. Yeah, they have an incredible wombo comp, because they have the Diana Yasuo. They can put Zyra on top of it. Zyra can even like create a big knockup for Yasuo as a backup to the Diana. So both teams putting together massive AoE teamfight ultimates so far.
Oh man, yeah, that is a huge lock-in. Yasuo Diana, humongous combo. Looks like it is going to be Seraphine mid. It is going to be Seraphine mid, which is not a good matchup for her, but I don't know. Let's see if Team A can bring it back from this.
Now, it is possible that they do flex it into the bot lane carry role. I don't know if MXL plays it.
I haven't seen him play it, but it is possible.
Yeah. AAA are going to respect ban the Alawi. PTP respond with Mordekaiser, targeting those top lane champion pools, as that's the solo lane still available, and I don't think either team feels as if any ADC is particularly powerful, which I think is interesting since the amount of priority on Misfortune so far on the patch, and some teams still highly prioritizing Sivir. To not see really any bot lane bans aside from the early Vayne is interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm surprised Misfortune was just left open this long, considering how strong the champion's been.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, and I think the Alawi ban was also a pretty good one, considering the PTP's 4-man is going to be really strong, so Alawi can just sit in the side lane all game if she wants to.
Yeah, and with Mordekaiser taken away as well, that gets rid of 2 of the main, like, you can't gank me champions. So it does start to chip away at that playstyle, but I know today plays a lot of Camille as well, and Rumble is the lock-in. I could be mid, but I'm guessing it's top lane.
You think so? Has Red played Rumble in the past? I don't know how strong he is top lane, and picking a blind seems pretty...
Yeah, maybe that is mid lane. Actually, no, you're right.
Maybe it is. I think
mid.
I think it's got to be, right? Rumble's pretty good into Yasuo. You put the Seraphine bot lane, it ends up being a really strong draft for Team A.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything from AAA's substitute mid laner Katarina to Q.
Nyla lock-in, Nyla Zera.
Wow, that actually makes it really interesting. And it does compile on the Wombo, but Nyla usually likes to go with a lot of like healing in the bot lane and utilize that passive, and Zyra's not exactly what you think of, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, especially somewhat blind into what ADC is going to be down there.
Yeah, I mean, we did see Nyla Zyra get locked in the LCK, and they ended up winning with it. I forget which team it was.
We are being told by our staff that the Zyra lock was an accident at LCK. Sorry, got confused there. But all in all, it is going to be an Ornn locked in for PTP, and that is a pretty solid blind pick. And we're gonna have to sort of see the draft unfold and see where these champions are going. And it is going to be Renekton.
All right, I like this guy. I respect this guy. Right, I like myself a good crocodile every now and then.
Yeah, I am curious how that goes. Renekton, in theory, should be able to bully Ornn.
No, it should be a pretty good matchup as long as he takes Conqueror. You just permafight him and he just can't win.
Alright, so overall, we see both drafts revealed to us. Who are you taking in this game?
Oh, I mean, I gotta give it to PTP. I love the Yasuo lock. That is so flavorful. Interesting to see how Creon does in the jungle with the Diana. I think it's going to be a lot of pressure on him to really carry this game. But if PTP goes late, their draft should absolutely outscale.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think PTP have drafted a composition that's a little easier to execute. I think the Rumble and Renekton definitely have some pressure on them to do really well in lane, or things are going to be really tough. And yeah, so overall, I'll have to give it to them. But AAA are a very good League of Legends team, and we're going to have to see how they synergize with this new mid laner.
Absolutely, absolutely. Looks like we got an Invade coming out.
Yeah, Nautilus does like to trade in those early flashes. Going to look for the angle, but the root. Well played from Bamatide. Good champion knowledge to not have to give up that flash for free. Rare Adam looking for the hook early, not going to find it.
Looks like we actually see Unsealed Spellbook from Ornn. I'm not sure how well that's going to play out in this matchup. I think he really needed the grasp for trading power in Renekton. He might have a hard time. Yeah,
it is an interesting summoner spell choice. It is one that I think it's better the later in the game you go, and potentially is nice in the early game if you get something like Exhaust to help you survive. But it's not one of those really powerful laning runes like Grasp of the Undying that I would have expected.
No, not at all. Really, what I'm interested to see, though, is this mid lane matchup with Katarina and then Sundara on the Yasuo. Both Ignite. It's going to be really volatile. I think we're going to see a lot of action.
Yeah, it will be really interesting. Now, Rumble actually does pick up the early ward there, which does mean a lot in terms of XP in that mid lane. I believe it does mean that Katarina, which is going to get confusing all the time, saying Katarina.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
Katarina in the
game.
No,
it should get level 2 off the first wave.
Absolutely, and that could be really pivotal in the matchup.
It might be, but with Yasuo having the D-Shield, I think it's going to be a lot more forgiving for him.
Yeah, we'll have to see as the wave is dying and Rumble is at that level 2. We're going to have to see. Sundara's not really respecting this, but the Electro Harpoon goes into a melee minion, so even that Electrocute proc goes into the Yasuo passive, so not a lot accomplished there on that early lead, but I don't think you need it.
No, right away we see Team Oz bot lane getting pushed in, kind of to be expected. I mean, Zyra has so much pushing power early game, and it's not like Seraphine could do any all-inning if, Nautilus wants to go in. A lot of fighting going on here. Fighting the mid lane, fighting the top lane. Very aggressive.
Yeah, now we're going to see a root coming out in the bot lane, just poke coming down everywhere, and we're starting to see how these matchups are shaking out, at least really early. The Ornn is falling behind Renekton, which is to be expected. Maybe we'll catch a little bit of that CS under tower, but it looks like it's not going to be that much. Renekton establishing a solid lead in just these first 2 waves, and bot lane is surprisingly going over to the way of Nyla, which is not usually expected with just being melee into ranged, but oh, Sundara taking a lot of damage in that mid lane.
A huge trade. Looks like Hecarim went for a little bit of an unordinary clear here. He cleared his whole top side, back, and he's going down to his blue side now.
Yeah, I wonder if there was a potential angle that they were looking for onto the Ornn early game, but when they saw the wave state, Hecarim decided once he finished clearing that Krugs, it's time to recall. Diana, meanwhile, is only on four camps and looking towards that crab, which is kind of interesting because I think of Diana as an extremely fast clear, so a 3-minute 20-second 4 camp is really awkward to me.
That is pretty awkward. Yeah, Diana usually does clear really quick. At least she's going to get the Scuttle Crab, and then the top one I don't think is going to get tested. She might end up getting both. Going to be a pretty big gold lead. The only problem is that Hecarim is going for that scaling build. He's going for the tier, going to build Muramana. Going to be a lot of damage in the late game.
Looking towards the mid, Sundara's looking for the tornado. It's up
huge
now.
engage.
You're gonna have to see the tornado is up now.
Yeah,
Gonna
Rumble's gonna
flash
flash
out from Diana, forces flash from Rumble. Sundara's still looking. Tornado does not land. XT in the area, but sides are gonna break off for now.
Looks like we got the supports coming mid lane having a party.
Oh, but in the top river, there's a collapse going on. Renekton coming down onto the Diana, stunning her up. So much damage going out. Both of these champions are so strong. Ghost is popped, and that is first blood going over to XT. Oh, but in the mid lane, Katarina finds a kill on to Bamatide. So they try and engage, and it just doesn't go well. The hook comes out. And then the Flame Spitter from Rumble does so much damage. Ignite finishes it off. Awkward setup from the side of PTP, trying to push their early advantage a little too far.
Absolutely. Team AA has a huge advantage now. I mean, that's momentous. We do see that neither mid laner is going to have Ignite, and Rumble's down on the flash, so maybe Yasuo can do something with that, but it's, pretty bad start for PTP.
Yeah, they still... the thing about a Diana Yasuo comp at the end of the day is that any team fight could be a winning team fight. Basically,
Absolutely.
No matter what the gold deficit is. If all of these champions press their R buttons on all 5 members at the same time, that fight is over.
Oh, they die instantly. I mean, especially Seraphine in the bot lane, she's going to get, she's going to die instantly. She has no defensive measures. Once she's up in the air, she's dead. That's it.
Yeah, so as we sort of are around the 5-minute mark, we see Bamatide trading a little bit in this bot lane, maybe up too far. We're going to have to see Rare Adam does flash, does find the hook,
Hit the
and
hook.
that is going to be another death for Bamatide. Not looking great so far early in this one.
No, I mean, this is a huge early game advantage for Team AA, and this is exactly what you were looking to have, considering that they just are not going to be able to scale up this game. Interesting, we do see the Iron Spike whip on the Renekton. I think with the new update and having him, scale a little better with AD, Gore Drinker is looking a lot better on that champion.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking Gore Drinker or Prowler's Claw. I'm not like a huge Renekton fan, but that's what I was seeing a lot of hype for just online. I know LS was talking about sort of this glass cannon Prowler's Claw Renekton that could be a very big beneficiary. So Gore Drinker is probably going to come in, and it is probably going to look really good on the Renekton, though, due to the buffs, and we'll have to see if we see that one-shot damage come through.
I mean, absolutely, it makes perfect sense with this, with the changes to Renekton. Q Sunfire doesn't work too well anymore, and they really need that front line for Seraphine. I think Gore Drinker's a pretty good pickup here.
Yeah, Equalizer coming down to the mid lane, just trying to get a nice back opportunity off for that Rumble in the mid lane. Meanwhile, it looks like top lane, for the most part, Ornn has gone rather even with the Renekton, maybe down about a wave, but, well, then you're going to lose another 3 minions, and then suddenly the lead looks a little larger as Red goes in, not going to find too much.
I mean, I was pretty surprised about that one, considering the Red started D-Blade. He just really isn't super aggressive in this matchup. He's just opting to play safe, which, I can 100% respect that. If you have Diana in the jungle, a lot of damage can come out to you if you overextend yourself.
Absolutely. Diana trying to find an angle in this top side. The charge is going to miss. Dominus is popped. And
He's level 5, no ult. I don't think he's dead.
Creon in without Moonfall. There's no way they can actually kill this Renekton. Incredibly tanky with that Dominus early on. Diana in dire need of that level 6. If we look into the bot lane now, we might see Rare Adam is positioned to go for a hook. It does hit the wall, not quite. And we're gonna keep looking at trading topside. Absolutely fine. I love to see topside because
absolutely.
They're gonna hit each other.
Two
Every
big beefy guys, beating each other up. Always fun to watch.
Yep. That's what I call a good Saturday afternoon. Anyway, back into the bot lane, we're seeing Bamatide is quite far down. Well, not necessarily, because actually Rare Adam's been roaming a lot. It's not necessarily that far down in XP, but has
Red's
been
going in here. He's got no ult.
Yeah, does find a lot of damage onto Tadeusz, and the Ornn doesn't have that ultimate in quite yet.
A little bit of a fight in the mid lane. Looks like Yasuo's a little scared to commit here. Rumble does have a lot of damage.
Yeah, and I'm starting to wonder where Team is going to sort of start to take those objectives. They've established themselves a really solid 2,000 gold lead early in this one, but they haven't exerted themselves. Oh, but the hook in from Nautilus finds Zyra again, but Diana is here, finds the backline, double knockup onto MXL, and now Creon turning towards Rare Adam won't have a chance in this one, and that is a double kill going over towards Nyla.
That is a huge pickup for PTP, especially both kills on Nyla, the champion you want that gold on. It's going to be a really, really big advantage in the bot lane. She should be able to... Oh my god.
Mid, here comes the Equalizer plus the Ignite plus Scorch. Sundara is going to live on the slimmest of margins. That was so incredibly close. And now we're going to see both junglers trading objectives based on their strong sides of the map.
And that's what I'm talking about with this hyper-lethal mid lane. Both champions with Ignite. Rumble has so much damage with the Sork Shoes, with the Dark Seal. It's going to be really, really extremely volatile in this mid lane.
Yeah, but importantly, Sundara does not drop there. And that does mean that there's plenty of opportunity for teams to just trade these objectives. Rift Herald going over to the side of and the first Mountain Drake going over to PTP. Who do you favor in that exchange?
I would say the Rift Herald is a little bit more valuable at this point in the game, especially because they didn't really give up much to do it. A lot of teams in FOF, I see them sending 5 people to Rift Herald, and they give up so many waves, so much gold to get that Rift Herald, it ends up not being worth it for them. But, you know, just sending a couple champions over there, pick it up real quick, I think that's pretty worthwhile, especially because Mountain Drake is a scaling Drake. It doesn't do much for you right now.
Yeah, Ornn is certainly going to appreciate it if we can get to around that 30-minute mark, for sure. See a lot of trading going on in that top side. Here comes the Ornn R.
Huge
Dominus
engage
is
from
out.
Ornn.
So much damage coming
Diana
out. Now
coming in.
Diana's here. Oh, and Red with the great flash is going to flash the Moonfall and be able to get out of there. Really good setup from Tadeusz trying to make that happen, but an even greater flash from Renekton to get out of that one. And they can potentially look for a dive if Red doesn't recall here, but they're not going to. They're going to turn towards Skullcrab.
Yeah, I think no way. Diana without ult or no ult. I don't think diving Renekton's a smart choice here.
So good play from PTP to not get ahead of themselves. If I'm the Diana, I'm absolutely looking for that.
Here we get the root, go for the ult.
Hook on Damatide. Charm is out from MXL, but Neela is in there and is so big under the tower, though. Not where you want to be. Both teams going to back off. They're exchanging ultimates in that bot lane. Hard to say who won, but no one really used any summoner spells. It was just a good old ult exchange.
You know, just a little high five real quick, just going in there, you know, seeing what's up. Blow some ultimate cooldowns, why not?
Yeah, always funny. Just like I see the damage check real quick. I'm not serious about it, but I just want to like know.
I need to make sure. Yeah, I need to make sure my damage numbers look good at the end of this game, guys. Can we, you know?
Nyla walking towards Nautilus here. The Rumble is on the way. So is Hecker.
Diana right there. I don't know about this one.
Both teams in a lot of trouble, but the Equalizer puts Nyla in so much trouble. Hook is going to miss, but XT is unstoppable. The devastating charge in, and Nyla will drop. Vano does drop. Sundara just trying to get out of there, and it is going to be 1-0 for the favor of Team AAA.
Yeah, huge ult there coming in from XT, able to pick up that kill like that. Denies Neela a lot of gold and XP, actually, because if you look at bot lane, her wave's actually pushing towards the red turret, and because of that, she's going to lose a lot of XP, a lot of gold from the minions.
Yeah, so a big pickup for the side of Team AAA, who've extended out to a 2,000 gold lead. Now the Herald in the mid lane. Both Diana and Yasuo are here to defend it, so the threatening combo is online. Both champions do have their ultimates, and Team AAA decide. On that note, they'll accept their 2 plates, and walk out safely.
Yeah, really not getting too much value out of that Rift Herald, but just being able to crack the mid turret like that, if they can get that mid turret down, really opens up the map and enables a lot more play for them.
Yeah, so if you're the side of PTP who are down a little bit early in this one, what are you looking towards to try and reestablish a lead on this game?
Oh, this game is completely winnable. I think all they need to do is just play safe, farm up, and they should scale up with those ornaments. We're talking the Diana Yasuo combo. All they need to do, I think, is, again, play safe, go fight at the dragon, and look for a big engage.
Have to agree, both the Renekton and the Rumble are champions that are generally known for their early game bullying. And you know, they're decent team fighters, but they're not exceptional team fighters. And the Yasuo in this composition has so many AoE ultimates. I think every other ultimate on the team actually can assist Yasuo in getting in there and getting big later in those team fights.
I think especially the Rumble ult isn't going to be too useful in these team fights, considering that everybody on PTP, you know, Diana, Yasuo, Neela, they all want to dive in there, right? And so if Rumble's zoning you off and, you know, you don't care, right? Diana goes in, presses R, Yasuo presses R, and you're all dead.
For sure. Rare Adam is looking in this mid lane, but Sundar with the ward coverage is going to spot that one out. Not going to get caught out, but Rare Adam has been everywhere on the map this game, sort of leaving MXL to just hang out alone in the bot lane, and it struggled a little bit early on, but it's working now. Orin walking down towards mid, might try and look for Nautilus.
Got a little bit of an unorthodox item pickup from Hecarim here. Looks like he went for the Gore Drinker.
Oh, that's interesting. I've seen a lot of different interpretations of the Hecarim buffs and what items are good and which are not. I generally see mostly the Sheen items, although we might see a hook out from Rare Adam onto Bamatide, who's locked up with a 3-man root. Big engage from Hecarim is going to take out Bamatide, but all the ultimates are landing from PTP, but it's not going to kill anyone just yet. That means the equalizer is still there and burning. Nyla wasn't at the play yet, and it's a disaster for PTP. Their ADC wasn't quite in the right spot. Oh my goodness, that was a fight.
Alrighty, going ahead and look at the... Oh, excuse me. Gonna go ahead and look at the replay here. I'm surprised that fight looked great for PTP, and then it just all fell apart. You had Renekton come in after the fact. Godzilla just cleaned it up.
Yeah, Nyla walking towards that bottom wave means she's not there, and that's one big
There's
ultimate.
that Nautilus hook starting off the fight.
Yeah, they weren't looking for it, and by the time XT is in there and they burn all their resources on Bamatide, it starts to look good for PTP, but the Orin Ulta 2 misses, and Vanal is just arriving to the play, and that means there's no way to win that fight. Overall, it is going to be 2-4-3 in the favor of Team A, but it gives us a glimpse about how PTP's fights could look. They have a lot of potential.
Absolutely. If Orin had to, you know, if he had the opportunity to recast his ult there, I really think they could have won that fight. But unfortunately, I mean, he just got blown up. He had to leave.
Yeah, it makes it incredibly awkward, and it does mean that this Ocean Drake is going to go towards the side of Team A. Deny that. Oh, but Red is looking for Vanal. Being immune to that stun, though, with the Jubilant Veil means that
it's huge. It's huge. Neela's really good against Renekton. If you can't hop on the ADC, you know, he's got to play front line. That's really his only choice here, which is why I went for that Gore Drinker. I think pretty smart by Red.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to watch how Red positions these fights. In that last one, Red kind of had a side flank angle, and it meant that he wasn't the victim of all these AoE ults, and the Renekton was perfectly healthy to help clean up the fight. And if Red can continue to find those teamfight angles, it's going to be hard to deal with the Renekton, but not being able to dive the ADC, not being able to stand next to everybody, does make it an incredibly difficult positioning job for the Renekton.
Oh, absolutely. And you see actually Seraphine here picking up the Leandries. You'd be surprised how much damage that champion can put out once she gets her items going.
Absolutely, and we've seen Bamatide do it. I mean, they are a Zyra player. This is their champion, and in their first game in FOF, an absolutely dominant performance, even from behind. But speaking of behind, the Nautilus has gotten behind the Neela, who's in trouble, and the hook is going to come out. Stun's coming out from everybody. Oh, but she dashes to the safety of her tower, but she's so fragile. Exhaust is keeping Red in place. Flash out from Rare Adam is going to secure the kill. Red barely getting out alive. PTP are turning their eyes towards the Rift Herald.
Yeah, I think really, again, huge pickup there from Team A. If you deny the Neela the ability to farm, I mean, PTP doesn't have an opportunity to scale.
For sure, for sure. They're
going on the Rift Herald here, Tadej.
Yeah, going towards the Rift Herald. They are on vision, so AAA does have the opportunity to respond to this. Nautilus and Seraphine are here. Hecarim coming in from top. Big extended Seraphine ult isn't going to find anyone, and now XT's in a lot of trouble. Both teams going to retreat. PTP picking up the objective.
I think that's pretty impactful, honestly, at this point in the game. If you take it mid, crack open that mid turret, again, really opens up the map for you. It gives you a lot more options, especially makes it a lot safer for your ADC to scale up this game.
Absolutely, and we are going to see the Nyla go towards that middle lane. She'll have a safer time farming up there after dying a couple times in the side wave. And there's a huge wombo, but as far as the damage, even though Yasuo does a lot of damage, even though Diana does a lot of damage, everybody's looking towards the Nyla for the big sustained DPS in this game, and what's going to absolutely blow up fights when those ultimates land. If the Nyla is free hitting after casting that ultimate, it's going to be a chainsaw. It's just a grinder with that Q extended AoE auto attacks. But Nyla does have to get there. Currently down on items compared to nearly everybody in the game. So it is a little tough for her at the moment.
Really not playing with a whole lot of resources here, unfortunately. But if they can get a fight, Diana ult into Yasuo ult, even Nyla, diving in there, pressing R after that, and blowing everybody up could be huge for PTP.
Yeah, it would be interesting because this is maybe one of the only scenarios in which an AD carry can sort of be suicidal in terms of how the fight goes, and just dive on top of all the enemies, press the buttons, and get your Yasuo a big ult. Doesn't really matter if you go down. I think the only other time you want your AD carry to be in the enemy team dying is maybe Karthus, so it is an interesting angle for PTP, and we're going to have to see if that's a strategy they go for.
I think so, and you again, you're seeing first item complete pretty much every champion here. You see Rumble win for that Night Harvester, pretty strong pickup, going to be doing a lot of damage in these team fights, especially once he's got that Equalizer up. That ability does so much damage, it's crazy. Yasuo and Neela both going for the shield, though. I think pretty safe pickup there. And then Ornn actually gets that Sunfire complete, means he's going to be doing a lot more damage in these team fights.
Yeah, and there's going to be a fight. Big Moonfall! Yasuo ult is in XT and Rare, and I'm taking a lot of damage, but they're CC'd on top of the Equalizer, and their teammates aren't here! Vadel goes in one
huge!
But doesn't stand a chance. MXL, they're with the ultimate that doesn't even need to land, and that's not really what I meant by suicidal ADC play.
Yeah, I think unfortunately at this point PTP is just so far behind on gold that even when they're getting these big combos, they're just getting blown up in these team fights too quick.
Yeah, the team looks like they're on different pages about when they want to fight, and they don't have their critical members there. Both the Ornn and the Zyra just in completely separate locations of the map, and even Nyla wasn't there on time, so really tough position for PTP, and they're going to need to have some better coordination if they want these fights to work. Oh, but Bamatide caught under the tower. Rare Adam's going to fish one up. And Rare Adam has been electric this game. Absolutely everywhere making things happen.
Oh, absolutely. Hitting these huge hooks, getting picks, a lot of gold advantage being generated for Team A here. I mean, again, if you look at it, they're nearly 5k gold up. Really, really huge lead. Again, you see another unorthodox item on the Hecarim. He went Frozen Heart. It's going to make him really, really tanky into Neela, really, really tanky into Yasuo.
Yeah, what that tells me is that XT plans on being exactly in the middle of all 5 enemy champions. Screw Divine Sunder, screw Eclipse. Why deal damage when I can be in the middle of the enemy team and generate value?
He's going to walk up, he's going to press Q, he's going to say, alright, listen, do something about it.
Yeah, and the Q... Oh,
another huge hook!
Into the big Seraphine are going to be disengaged by the Zyra ultimate, and Herald not gonna find too much in the mid lane.
Really nice Zyra ult there. Really nice.
Yeah, the Zyra ult was key to keeping PTP members alive, but the Herald doesn't generate much value, and Team A pick up that Cloud Drake.
Yeah, I think if you're Team PTP here, really what you want to do is you want to get your second item going on your Ornn. You want to get your second item going.
Hook goes on to Vadel, going to get knocked up by the Death Charge. Devastating onslaught under the tower, but Vadel is alive! The moon falls out! Diana shut down Creon massive, but is going to drop to XT. Bamatide can't fight 1 versus 2. 1 for 1, but I think that's huge for PTP.
My god, it's just fight after fight after fight.
At the end of the day, Diana does pick up a shutdown, even though it was jungle for support. One of the few games where that's going to be worth it. We were talking about how big Rare Adam was in this game, and it caused a gold bounty to form, and brawling in the bot lane I don't think can result in anything. I don't think either of these two champions can really ever kill each other unless the Ornn decides it's his time to go. So...
I think you'd be surprised how much damage Ornn can actually spit out if you do the full combo. I mean, it's a lot. It's like something like 40% max health magic damage.
That's true, but I think depending on when the Dominus is popped, as well as the Gore Drinker inventory, makes it so tough.
It does make it really hard. That's absolutely right. But I mean, with Ornn having Ninja Tabbies and random, or almost random wins, he's got the Warden's Mail. Redactin just does absolutely no damage to him right now.
For sure. Yeah, today he's looking really strong in these side lanes. Down about 30 CS, I think that's about what you would expect in the matchup. Bamatide is here looking for red, but the wave's not in the right position. And look at where Rare Adam is on the map right now. So deep in enemy jungle, getting vision. Able to dodge out on the Yasuo with a couple seconds to spare. But now he's going to get spotted out. Nope, going to just use the blast cone and get out of there. Meanwhile, Team R just going to pick up this mid outer turret. The gold lead keeps growing.
Again, I think if you're PTP, you're just looking for your Yasuo to get his Infinity Edge. Once you get that, I mean, huge power spike, especially because Diana's now got her Sunfire. At this point, this is pretty much as strong as she's going to get. You guys are looking for a huge combo once Yasuo gets that IE. He just does so much damage in these team fights.
Every minute that passes, PTP get more and more items that their champions just scale really well with. We talked about the Infinity Edge. Nyla gets just better items than you do because of the amount of passives that she has. That just mean her crit items deal more. Ornaments are going to start coming through. Ornn is now level 14.
And I think if you're Ornn here, you just fight this. Renekton does absolutely 0 damage, and your Sunfire is ticking away.
Yeah, and I think today's just realized it, but doesn't quite understand the ebb and flow of that one. That does mean Red is going to get out, but the Ornn is completely matching Renekton in the side lane right now. And
this is really good for PTP, especially because, I mean, once you get those ornaments online, you're just infinitely more valuable than Renekton could possibly be.
Have to agree now. Sundara might be the target. 4 members of AAA walking up to that top side. Yasuo a little extended in that lane. He is going to be able to walk out of there, but I think it was really close. I think it's like a few Teemos of distance for Rare Adam to just be in the right place to catch him out.
Team A might be setting up to take this Baron here. I'm not sure why they got 4 top otherwise. Giving up the mid turret.
It's just a tower trade, it looks like. The top outer from PTP for the mid outer, and that's a trade that you absolutely take if you're PTP. Oh, and they absolutely shred the mid inner too. Diana and Neela doing so much damage to that tower, and we're going to see some more brawling in the bottom lane with the top laners, and Ornn's continuing to win it. He's going to call it in. Call of the Forge God comes out, forces the Renekton's flash, and that's a trade you're happy with, but Dej wants more. Teammates coming in from the side. Red might be in a lot of trouble. No flash available for the Crocodile. Dominus is popped, but there's 4 people here. Oh, but he does so much damage. Mammothide is in trouble. Shut down. Ends up going over to Creon. A good rotation. AAA trying to see if they can respond with the Baron, but they are going to try and respond with the Yasuo. Depth Charge coming out. Equalizer coming out. Sundara is not long for this one. I
think if you're Team A, you go straight for the Baron. Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. Team PTP have showed no signs of moving. Zyra and Nyla are back on the map, but with Diana still on bot lane, I think that Baron goes over. It does take a long time to kill, but PTP haven't started moving yet.
I mean, you see Nyla and Zyra are almost there, but I don't think they can fight. I mean, we do see the TP coming in from Ornn.
Doesn't have the ultimate. The Baron
Big
does
Zyra ult.
Big Zyra ult. The Seraphine ult does find onto Vanel, who is chunked out, and I do think that AAA are going to get out. I don't think they want more. Tadej does want more, though. It's slowly getting chunked out by the Flamespitter doing so much. Stoppable Onslaught coming out from XT is going to take down the Ornn. Mammothide is up next. Flash is out, but it's not going to be enough. The Hecarim is so fast. Nyla's going to have an incredibly hard time. Equalizer coming out, slowing her up. Is going to dash through the Hecarim to save the tower, but the unstoppable Onslaught, devastating charge in from Hecarim, picks up another one.
I mean, that is pretty much as bad as it could possibly go. Going in 3-man like that and all getting picked up. Really, really bad for Team PTP. I'm interested to see how they could bring this back, but they're 5k gold down. You know, Team Oz got Baron. They're going to have the 3rd Cloud Dragon now up to Soul Point. Pretty rough here for PTP.
Yeah, and I think we know how... I think everybody understands how PTP get back into this game, right? It's about the wombo. It's about the combo. It's about 5 members in the right place at the right time, pressing their R keys at the same time, making it happen. But they haven't been able to get on the same wavelength yet. I've seen a lot of 3v5s and 4v5s.
I'm really interested to see if they really want to look for a 5v5 team fight, because I'm not so sure that even if they get a nice wombo combo, they win, being 5k gold down, and everybody on Team A is so tanky at this point. You look at Renekton, he's not going to die. He's not going to die to that combo. Hecarim's not going to die to that combo. Rumble's got the stopwatch. I think it's really difficult here if you're PTP to get back to this game.
Yeah, and it might just be about trying to blow up MXL and getting to the tanks later. Seraphine at 6-1 and 5 carries immense value, especially being the team's only source of heal cut. It's something you can absolutely get away with because of how good Chemtech Putrefier is. Seraphine's ability to just give it to the entire team. But if they get rid of that Seraphine, the Grievous Wounds isn't there anymore, and that gives Neela and Yasuo a lot of room.
And we see Nautilus has no mana here, so I'm not sure how Team Oz is going to look for an engage. Tate is going in on red bot lane.
Yeah, we're seeing the big tanky guys brawl it out, and it kind of doesn't go over to anyone. I mean, it slowly goes over to the Ornn, but I think Red is more than content to just keep Ornn in the side wave. Where Adam taking a little bit of damage, but yeah, like you said, super tanky. The slow resist from the Cloud Drake means that it's really hard to catch him up and just gonna walk out of there and now can take that Baron recall.
And I think PTP is doing a great job of handling this Baron. They're not giving away any turrets, really.
Yeah, not at all, and Renekton not having it anymore means that it's hard for this push to go well.
There we go,
Charge
huge
goes
engage.
in. Bamatide's coming! Oh, I kind of expected the call of the Forge God to come out there and look for an angle, but not willing to pull that trigger, wanting to save that ultimate for a group of people. Maybe, I mean, it would be up in 3 minutes, so both objectives, you're not really saving it for that, so we're going to have to see if another one of these sort of random skirmishes breaks out. We've been seeing fighting over each and every little thing in this game.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just been fight after fight after fight. This game, you see there's 23 kills altogether, only 28 minutes into the game. It's been a really interesting game to watch, I gotta say. I'm really interested to see if PTP can get that wombo combo we've been talking about, you know. Diana ult into Yasuo ult, maybe Ornn throws his ult in there, and I mean, honestly, this game's not over.
No, it's definitely not over, and I think we are in a bit of an Omega lull state right now, as both objectives are down. AAA have established themselves a really solid 5k gold lead, but haven't extended it to the point where it's really lethal yet. So we'll go back to our favorite pastime, watching the burly men in the bot lane hit each other over and over for minimal results, but once again, like every other fight we've watched, it is going over to Ornn.
Yeah, I mean, again, once you get that Frozen Heart, once you get that Sunfire on Ornn, you just take no damage from right-click champions.
For sure, and the ornaments are starting to roll in. The ornament has gone on to Nyla. It's really hard to tell if it's gone on to the Sunfire for Diana, but I believe that one has gone on as well.
It looks like it, yeah. I know, yeah, Neela's got hers, and I think Diana has hers. Ornn's level 16, so we actually should have another one.
Yeah, and so maybe going to look over to give it right now. Yep, going to give it.
Yasuo.
Give it to Yasuo. Yeah, that's good. And
that's huge. Blood Ward is a humongous advantage over just a regular shield bow, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's a lot of extra stats. I mean, the lifesteal isn't much to write home about, but your attack damage and your attack speed go up quite a bit. So it's very nice to get those stats out onto your teammates, and it maybe makes what is a 5k deficit maybe a little more like a 3k or a 2,000 gold deficit. So these fights could be really close. It's going to come down to coordination.
Well, let's see here. We got a 5k gold deficit here for Team A. They're up 5k gold. Each ornament's worth each ornament's worth 1,000 gold. So I think really it's only like a 1,000 gold deficit once you factor that in.
Yeah. So all these stats coming in for the side of PTP, and we're gonna have to see can they execute the wombo, and they're gonna go towards the Renekton 40 seconds before soul spawns. This play is critical. Call the Forge God comes in. It is going to miss Red. Creon has to find the Moonfall. It is. The Yasuo ult is going to come out. They are going to try and burst down this Crocodile. Is going to go down, shut down. Over to Nyla. With 20 seconds left, I think they can rotate back. But they've used 4 ultimates.
They did use 4 ultimates. Yasuo ult has almost no cooldown. That's going to be back up. But, I mean, Diana no ult or no ult. I don't know if they can fight this dragon. And if Team A gets Soul, it's huge. Cloud Soul is going to be so powerful with their team comp. Especially look at Hecarim. I mean, Cloud Soul and Hecarim's not only the ability to engage even harder, but you got to remember Hecarim passive its damage too.
And PTP are opting into an objective trade. They're going to go towards the Baron and give up the Cloud Soul. Really interesting maneuver. It's weird to me because PTP is the team that theoretically has better scaling, so I would think that they would want to sort of deny the big buff and let have some power for a couple minutes. So it is a really interesting choice to me, but maybe they decided they can't push into the choke points without their ultimates, so going to go over and make sure they get something for their troubles, and we're going to have to see how they utilize this Baron.
Honestly, I think that's the right call, because I don't see how you win the fight at Dragon right now with no ultimate abilities up, so I think taking the Baron, getting that a pretty beefy amount of XP and gold from that, I think that's the right decision.
That's true. It is really easy to forget about how much just XP and gold these big objectives give, especially since they got buffed not too long ago. Just to give over more gold and XP. I don't know if the Baron was actually buffed. I know Herald and Dragons were.
I don't think the Baron was. I think it still just gives 1,500 gold to the team who kills it, and it's a lot. It's like 7,000 XP, I think.
Yeah, 3 Cloud Drakes assembled on the side of AAA. And you'll notice if you just sort of look at the minimap, their champions just move faster.
I mean, yeah, with the Cloud Soul and 3 Cloud Drakes at this point, they're moving so quick. I mean, you look at Hecarim, that guy's playing creative mode. Okay, that guy is so happy right now.
For sure, for sure. We do see sort of doubling down on the standing in the middle of the team. The Black Cleaver picked up is going to strip armor off of everybody quite quickly. And
that's a huge pickup. I mean, Renekton doesn't have a Cleaver. Hecarim having that's going to be so much extra damage in these team fights.
For sure. We see Diana looking forward, going to get stunned up by Seraphine, though. It means it's hard to find an angle. Rare item on the side, though.
PTP's got to be careful with Nautilus flanking.
Yeah, they don't have the necessary vision for this siege. At least Ornn is here, which is something, but this might be the death now. Rare Adam dropping the death charge onto the Neela, but PTP are going forward looking for the combo, and they find a big one on 3. Ornn ult is through, Zyra ult is through, and they finally find the wombo going under tower. Rare Adam's gonna drop, Katarina's gonna drop, the Crocodile on the back's gonna do everything they can, but this might be a PTP victory!
Okay, all we gotta do is take down the raid boss, Crocodile. Godzilla going down. Got myself a new Crocodile jacket. Pair of shoes, too, maybe.
We talked about how PTP can win this game, and it's through a big wombo. Rare Adam, who's been on fire this game, tries to get the setup, gets great ward coverage, but the wombo is finally through. All 5 members of PTP assemble in one place. Take us through this fight.
Absolutely crazy. You see Red actually TP to the ward way back down mid lane here, but gets there way too late. I think you see this fight started off actually with Diana. Let's see.
Yeah, no, it's Rare Adam who goes in first.
Rare Adam going in. Diana goes in on the Seraphine. Yeah, boom, huge Diana ult. The Ornn ult is doing so much damage in this fight. Oh my god. And then from here, it's just a slaughter, just picking up kills.
Yeah, so I think PTP just went off that, right? I think we see the Baron versus Soul gamble completely pay off.
I think this game's over with Baron. I think it's over.
I think, yeah, absolutely has to be over. Diana going to absolutely shred through these towers. We do see the ward that was put down by Rare Adam. It was a really good ward. It doesn't quite cover the bush, but that's okay. And now, yeah, PTP are just going to walk this one in. Yeah. It's so over. And
that's what I'm talking about, that Ornn ult. You don't even necessarily need to hit the Yasuo ult. Just the Ornn ult plus the Diana ult. So much damage. Neela going in there and just boom. One big pickup like that, swing the whole game around. That's 10k gold.
Oh my goodness, what a game from PTP. They assemble the Wombo Combo comp, and they Wombo comboed at the end of the game to win, and we were talking about how they scaled better, and they managed to hang on long enough to get there.
I mean, that was just gorgeous, I gotta say. You just wait for your Ornn items, you wait for your carries to pick up their, their vital items, and boom, you just do that, win the game, piece of cake. They're like, wasn't even worried about it, right? Easy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, today is doing so much damage in the side lane. That Ornn damage is not safe. So much damage just going on to Renekton. Over and over again, they're just bullying each other, and at the end of the day, Ornn is just the better scaling champion and was able to start beating the Renekton in the side lanes.
I mean, that's...
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, that's just huge. You see, PTP the whole game, they're like, listen, I don't need the Rift Herald, I don't need the dragons, all I need is my combo, I just need gold, man, I just need gold. And they just like, alright, let's get this Baron real quick, guys, let's just go mid, end the game, piece of cake.
Absolutely, and with that massive win from PTP, we are going to go over to an interview from the victors, but we do need a little break, so we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, folks. Chris Edgeworth here with our third interview of the night. It's a bangers only evening here at Friend or Foe Esports, and another one fresh out of the oven for you folks. And I have joining us from that game, Creon, jungler of our victorious Pentakill Teemo. Please, how are you feeling after the win?
Great. Thanks for having me on. But yeah, that was a fun game. Real. We were a little behind, but made it work in the end.
Oh yeah, well, let's set the table. You folks had one of the spiciest drafts that we have seen, especially tonight, but I think probably this week, to be honest, as you folks had all of the Wombo with the big circles, Zyra, Nyla, Yasuo, and well, Diana is another big circle, but then the Yasuo benefits from all the circles. And then, yeah, the Ornn, just, today's on the Ornn Hub duty up there. You folks had a really interesting draft, a very execution-heavy draft, I must admit, and you folks were able to pull it through in the end. They picked a much more, I'd say a much more LCS comp, I guess, let's say, minus the Rumble mid. But still, I think that there's a lot more stock standard stuff on their side. So what was your guys' thoughts on the draft taking such a directly aggressive comp?
Yeah, we definitely wanted to pick up the Diana and the Zyra. Those are two of our key picks. And then we kind of just built around that based on what we've seen from them at the time. Yasuo obviously goes well with Diana and Zyra, so we wanted to grab him. Nyla was also, obviously goes right there, and then the Ornn. Yeah, so we just basically had a Wombo comp, if you will.
Yeah,
but
go keep going.
Yeah, I mean that's the plan. Either me engage or Ornn engage, and and then we could just Wombo off of that.
Yep. Well, you folks, I think, had to surmount some odds with this composition. Of course, a little earlier in the game, you folks had fallen to a disadvantage against the other team, but you folks just had to keep your heads on your shoulders. And I noticed it seemed to be about when Yasuo completed the IE, you guys started to play a little bit more aggressive, knowing that the damage was going to be that much more in the follow-up to all of the ultimates that you folks had put together. So talk to me, if you would, about just sort of this mid-game transition as you folks started to take over the game.
Yeah, I mean, mid-game is all about survival. We were very careful not to give up any kills that they could transition to further objectives. For example, we gave up third dragon. I think I used the rift mid on third dragon, second dragon. We were just giving up dragons to get turrets basically, because we didn't think we could win mid game in the jungle. So we're trying to push lanes, gain priority other places, and kind of win the game that way.
Right on. Well, I mean, let's talk about the game-winning play overall, which was a little bit of a head-scratcher, honestly. And for on their side, first time I've had to actually say their team name, Team out there. They had you folks, coming in onto their base, and they did have the Nautilus off to the side on the flank. And I don't want to be toxic. I don't want to be that guy. But there was a little bit of a oopsie with the likes of the teleport. I felt like Renekton sort of messed up a little bit of what could have been a really possible turning play for them to sort of wrest this back from your favor. Of course, you folks were scaling out of your minds. Ornaments out the wazoo there. But as you had said earlier, I mean, the Nautilus was just off to the side. So talk to me a little bit, if you folks, your comms as you were getting ready for this big play, as it turned out to be the game-winning dive.
Yeah, we knew Renekton was splitting. We knew he definitely had TP. We saw Nautilus coming behind us through their jungle, and he pretty much had us trapped. We definitely couldn't disengage, so we had to commit to the play. We really did think Renekton was right there with him, so we were definitely aware that potentially 5v5 is happening right now. But our game plan was to get on the get on the Seraphine, and that's what I did. I kind of just made it a point to get on her. I was able to with my flash. I was able to ult 3 of them, and then Ornn had a nice follow up and knocked lose 3 and another 4. And then we just comboed off of that. I think Yasuo actually ended up he didn't ult off of my ult, he ulted off of Orin's 4-man ult, so it was good on him too, the wait a little bit for that. And yeah, just I mean, you guys saw it. Just once you connect all those ults, it's very hard to do anything other than die.
Yeah, it gets quite nasty at that point. So in the end, you folks do come out with the W in your column. So tip the hat to Pentakill Teemo, please, on this one. Thank you, Creon, for joining me for this interview. Before we step away, though, your opportunity here. Any final thoughts to leave with us on the desk? Any shout-outs or any banter?
No, I just think you guys run a real good league. I was subbing today, and I love everything I see. I think it's a lot of fun, and hopefully, I could sub a few more games in the future. And good luck to PTP, and everyone else.
Right on. Well, folks, Game 4 of Heroic coming up after a short break. It's been bangers only all day. Maybe we got one more in the bag. We'll see you soon.